What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
And we need to get to 100% clean, renewable energy as soon as humanly possible by introducing the 100% Clean, Renewable Energy and Equity Act. Next, I would love to bring up a local leader from Harford County, Aravinda Pillalamari with Harford County Climate Action.
Thank you. It's so reassuring to see so many people here and so many delegates ready to be bold when talking about increasing our renewable energy use. Time to stop using fossil fuels and move to 100% renewable energy. The sooner, the better. We must all work together and demand that all of our elected officials no longer kick the can down the road. I would love to see at the next rally delegates from Harford County joining the delegates here who have spoken with such conviction about the need to act on this and act on it now. This is not a Republican or Democratic idea. Sea level rise will happen in Florida and Maryland. Bigger and stronger hurricanes will happen in Texas and New Jersey. Longer droughts will hurt California and Montana. Climate change affects all of us. We can do better. We must do better. And, that's why we're all here to demand that our legislators support a fossil-free Maryland. Harford County Climate Action is a 100% grassroots volunteer group of earthlings dedicated to protecting our environment. We have adopted roads, we've marched in Washington, spoken before public officials, and knocked on doors to talk to neighbors about the urgency of climate change. As my friend and stalwart activist Pam Deemer out there says, fossil fuels are so last century. As the delegates said before, communities are already suffering the impacts of climate change. But where is Maryland? Maryland, I found, is ranked 33rd among states in using renewable energy as a percentage of total energy. Wow. We must do better. Clean energy is connected not only to cutting our carbon footprint, but also to clean air and water and public health and more safe and sustainable livelihoods. On the first day of the legislative session right here, we heard from young people employed in the solar energy industry about how excited they were to wake up and go to work every day. Those are the kinds of jobs we need, and any legislator seeking to do right by the people of Maryland would jump on the chance to get to 100% clean energy as early as possible. This bill gives us the chance to find out who those legislators are. If they are with us, we pass this bill right now. Yeah. If not, we can change those legislators. We've learned a thing or two about grassroots efforts for policy change. Our group started after the People's Climate March in New York, but not all of us can go to Baltimore or Annapolis or Washington, so we were determined to be the change locally. So we get inspired from our wise elders like Margaret Mead, who said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. It is yet another thing altogether never to doubt Harford County. We live in a county that authorized legal fees rather than to comply with the state stormwater management requirements. They fooled people into believing that they were saving taxpayers' money without considering what would be the costs we would incur if we couldn't depend on clean water. So what became Harford County Climate Action started with just a handful of people at an outdoor art festival in Bel Air. We stood and asked people to sign a petition for 100% for clean renewable energy, and we had over 100 signatures, and we gave this petition to our congressman, Andy Harris. Speaking of people who don't see past the end of their noses, Andy Harris recently said about offshore drilling that he would not object as long as it was not in sight of the shoreline. The impacts of expanding the fossil fuel industry are so well documented and so severe that it is simply unfathomable that anyone should take an out-of-sight, out-of-mind approach. Yeah. So if you could join me in a brief message to Andy Harris. We want windmills.
We want windmills.
No more oil drills.
No more oil drills.
We want windmills.
We want windmills.
united stand and take it urgently. But what about the question, is it doable? In 2016, our young fledgling group was asked to approach our local officials to take a stand on the fracking ban. Was it doable? Well, with the fearless leadership of our president, Tracy Waite, we visited Dimmock, Pennsylvania, and saw firsthand the impact of fracking on the community. Some of us read Frackopoly. We went door to door, stood in farmers markets, talked to people, and eventually talked to our town council. They not only supported us, to our great surprise, but when we attended a follow-up meeting just to thank them for listening, they urged us to approach more municipalities and talk to folks in neighboring counties as well. This convinced us that the power of the people is stronger than the people in power. In other words, yes, we did. Yes, we did. Today, we are a force, and we will show up each and every time. Given the scale and scope of the climate challenge, it may seem that we are but drops in the ocean. What we are, however, what you and you and you are, we are the mighty ocean in every drop.
Thank you so much, Arvinda.